Thank you, Ashraf. I really enjoyed the explanation on our last question. What I would like to ask you now is, what is fifth dimensional living? What do you mean by it? How do we get there, and what is the role of choice?
For that question, the focus now on fifth dimensional living. We've been talking a lot about fourth dimensional living and the archetypes of fourth dimensional living, which is beggar, addict, and victim, focusing outside. So what is fifth dimensional living, and what are the archetypes there, and what is the role of choice in fifth dimensional living? So 4D living, fourth dimensional living, as I said, is somebody is so focused into the experience. Fifth dimensional living is actually becoming aware that we are focused into our experience. Becoming aware that there's beyond us focusing into our experience, that we can actually focus beyond our experiences, beyond what is going on in time and space for us to focus on. And when we start focusing beyond what is going on, we experience what is termed universally as faith, security, the kingdom, whatever you want to call it. We experience a state of expansiveness, a believer consciousness, the secure. As I said, in Aramaic it's called mu'min, in Arabic it's called mu'min. So it's Mormon, mu'min, whatever it is. It's believer consciousness. A believer is secure, rooted and grounded in fifth dimensional awareness. So once we become aware that everything our body perceives, our mind perceives, and our emotions perceive, every phenomena, everything that you can think about, look at, touch, feel about, is part of the fourth dimensional world. And you can think about something. Your thinking about it is also part of the fourth dimensional world. You can feel about it, emote about it. It's also part of the fourth dimensional world. And you can maybe touch it or do something about it in some way. So whatever's going on or whatever is, and our thinking, feeling, and actions or reactions about it, it's part of the fourth dimensional world, and that which we think about it with. So your mind's thinking, and what you think about is 4D. But there is you aware that you have a mind, and you aware that you have thoughts, and you aware that you are actually thinking about something. You can go beyond being lost in thoughts about things. So when we are in a trance, we're like so lost in a thought that we don't even realize we're lost in a thought. I mean, when we feel upset about something, angry about something, our focus is so much on something or somebody in time and space, and we're so absorbed in that shrunken focus, we don't realize we identified with our minds and we're thinking something about it, and we don't even realize we have a mind to think with. So that is 4D living, when you are identified with your mind and your thoughts, and you're not aware that you have a mind. You are not your mind, you are not your thoughts, you're not what you think about. There's an expansive space, an expansive state of recognizing I have a mind, I'm not going to use it to think about things, or I'm going to think about things without getting lost in my mind, and what I'm thinking about is temporary, it's what's happening now. I don't have to make it real and react to it like it's always been, it's always will always be. We can relax our mind attachment and our mind's thoughts and what our minds think about. We can relax and exit the mind. And the same with our body. What our body perceives, the things that we see through the eyes, the nose, smell through the nose, touch with the tongue, handle with the hands, and the five senses basically. What we perceive through the five senses, our perceiving of it, and the senses and the body that we perceive it with, is in time and space, and we can actually become aware that I'm perceiving something through my sight, I'm perceiving something through my hearing, I have ears, I have eyes, I have a body, I have senses, I have sensations, but I'm not my senses. Like I'm not my mind, I'm not my senses, I'm not my sensations, I'm not my body, I'm not my body's perceptions. And we can free ourselves from 4D and experience an expansiveness of 5D. and the emotions as well. Sometimes we get so emotional, controlled by these emotional currents, our emotions, and we're so focused on what we're feeling about and lost in that feeling, and we don't even realize we have feeling bodies that emote and emote about something. So standing apart, observing. I'll give you this as an example. I take a walk every day in my neighborhood, and about half a kilometer up the road there's a map of my neighborhood, and if you stand in there, and you will see, it'll say you are here. You are here. And when I stand and I look at that map, I get a sense of where I am from an outside perspective, like looking at it from a bird looking at me from a distance. Here is Ashraf standing at this point looking at this map. And I have a moment of disidentification, because I realize, okay, there's a terrain. This map is showing me a terrain. I'm in a terrain, in an area, and this is where I'm standing in relation to everything else. So I start realizing that the shopping center is, a certain distance away in a certain direction, and so on and so forth. So if I'm just standing at that spot, all I can see is what's in that area around me. But when I look at the map, I realize where I'm standing and beyond the area around me. So this is what fifth dimensional, multidimensional awareness is. It's an awareness beyond being identified with the mind, the body, the emotions. It's beyond being identified with fourth dimensional structures. The mind, the emotions, and the body is 4D structures, and perceiving in the 4D world, in the created world, in the simulated world, in the made up world. So we have an expansion as we go into fifth dimension, that I am not my body, I'm not my mind, I'm not my emotional body, I'm definitely not my thinking, I'm definitely not my sensing and sensations, my perceiving, I'm definitely not my emotions and my feelings. I have a mind, I have thoughts, and these are things that I think about. But we go beyond that perception. That shrunken perception, lost in the mind. I have a body, I have body senses and sensations, and these are things that I sense and have sensations or perceptions about. But I am not the body, and I'm not my perceptions, and I'm not that which I am thinking about or perceiving about or feeling about. I'm not my emotions, and I recognize there's a part of me that's feeling about this. So this is an observer status. This is an observer level, multidimensional. It's characterized with awareness. So the more multidimensionally aware we are, we know we're not the body, the mind, the emotions. We know we have a body, a mind, and emotions. We know we have thoughts, but we're not our thinking. We have emotions, we're not our emotions. We have sensations and perceptions, but we're not our sensations and perceptions. We know that we are actually beings that are beyond time and space, the 3 dimensions of space and the 1 dimension of time. That while our bodies and our minds and emotions are in time and space, but our awareness is not. Our awareness, we can be aware multidimensionally. We can be aware outside time and space, and we can be aware that there is a support that has caused the earth to be, and us to be having a mind, that we didn't give ourselves a mind, we didn't give ourselves a body, we didn't give ourselves emotions, we didn't give ourselves life in this dimension, we didn't create this dimension. We didn't make the world be, the human beings didn't make the world be, the earth be, the universe be. That the earth and the universe and we are not because of us or anything in time and space, something beyond dimensions. The dimensions are because of something beyond the dimensions. That's where we become God conscious, multidimensionally secure. But it's through this part of us that begins to realize I can experience being secure. I can experience love. I can experience joy. So your body can't experience love and joy. Your mind can't experience love and joy. And your feelings, emotions can't experience love and joy. But you, the multidimensional you, can experience ease, love, joy. And these are multidimensional energies that are not in time and space. So if you're identified with the mind, the body, and the emotions, you get lost. You get lost in time and space, and you can't then experience ease, joy, enjoyment, fun, play, laughter, fulfillment, satisfaction. You cannot get into these multidimensional states when you are controlled by something or somebody, focused on something and somebody, focused into the 4D world. You cannot experience the multidimensional empowering energies, flowing energies. So when somebody is in the trances, beggar, addict, victim, they are locked in time and space. That believer, that is the multidimensional, aware of a power, one unique and supreme power, the relevant power. Once you start focusing beyond the dimensions, the one that is beyond, that has created the created world, the uncreated one, you're now moving into fifth dimensional awareness, and now you can experience through your I am consciousness, which is beyond your mind, your body, your emotions. It's beyond the imagining self, that you that thinks but is not, that is the you that thinks but is aware that you are thinking, not lost in your thoughts. The you that perceives but is aware that you are perceiving, not lost in your perceiving, not identified and lost with your mind, body and emotions. The you that is aware that you're emoting, but not the you that's lost in the emoting, in the emotions. So there is a you that can experience itself as expanded, free, and it can focus on the beyond with God, experiencing worship, actual worship, and experiencing the security that comes from connecting with source energy, and then experiencing that ease and being pleased. So okayness is security, then ease and being pleased and enjoying yourself and relating to yourself, supporting good feeling within you, and then opening up to enjoyable, pleasant, satisfying and fulfilling experiences also within you. So notice from the previous question how we were focused into this dimension, into this world, and now we focused beyond time and space, what's happening, what's not happening. In spite of what's going on and despite what's going on, we actually focused multidimensionally, feeling secure, which your body can't feel and your mind can't feel or think, peace and security and joy. But you, the I am self, is beyond the mind and is not controlled by the mind. So you're experiencing a peace that passes all understanding. Love and joy. That you is what we are empowering. That's a self-empowering process that we are talking about in the truth teaching here. And you can then experience security, going beyond the beggar into a believer, and you can choose this. Choice becomes available when you are not disidentified. The only time you can choose is when you're not disidentified. So this is why we go into exploration in the teaching. We ask questions to become aware of our identification with the mind, the body, the emotions. And then we can choose to go beyond the identification. We can then experience believer consciousness or boss consciousness, if you prefer that. Fifth dimensional awareness. That's when, feeling secure, we can operate as adults, relating to ourselves and relating to our bodies and relating to our lives and other people and even relating to our afterlife. Only a secure person can support experiencing being selfful. And a person who's secure and selfful, that means being a believer and being an adult, can now begin to focus on alternate realities, super and supraconsciously. When we exit time and space, we are superconscious. And when we start feeling into alternate realities that already exist, what are the potentials and possibilities of being, becoming, living and experiencing? Once we start using that higher mind, we are supraconscious. So the beggar, the addict and the victim is unconscious and subconscious. When we start doing this work, go through the study, we are becoming more and more conscious of our subconsciousness and our unconsciousness. We as conscious human beings can begin to choose to support operating superconscious, which is multidimensional. And then once we're experiencing security, multidimensional okayness, in spite of and despite what's going on in our experiential world, we can now multidimensionally focus on alternate realities, what we would rather be, what we would rather become, what we would rather live, what would we rather experience. You can now focus supraconsciously, and that's the vicegerent archetype, that's the victor archetype, that's the creative. So as we go multidimensional, we go into spiritual power, believer consciousness. As we go multidimensional, we go into adult consciousness, which is personal empowerment, personal development. And then a person who's spiritually grown up and personally developed means you are aware of God's relating to you and you are relating to yourself. Then you can relate to alternate realities, that is the gifts and favors of God upon you that already exist for you to claim and support and experience. And that's where you operate supraconsciously, and that is termed prayer, usually. Where you operate. And all these three, beggar and the addict and the victim, is fourth dimensional, and they keep you stuck, preventing you from operating as a believer, as an adult, and as a vicegerent. It stops us from experiencing spiritual power if we don't work, and becoming conscious and releasing our unconsciousness and subconsciousness. We will not experience God consciousness or super consciousness, and that's the multidimensional. We won't experience security, and if you're insecure, you cannot really support selffulness, operating in a way that's adding value to you, attending to you, your body, your life, your afterlife, other people. You can't really relate to yourself if you're not aware of God and God's relating to you. That I've been given life, this world is a given to us, we did not create it. It's all multidimensional, superconscious, aware beyond the body's control of you, the mind's control of you, the emotions' control of you. And once you know of God's relating to you, you can relate to you, and you can relate to God's good for you in this world and the world beyond. So that's where you are operating securely more and more. You're operating self-fully more and more. And you're operating in support of satisfaction more and more. So it's spiritual growth, personal power, and creative empowerment. Life enrichment and life fulfillment is only for somebody who is secure and self-full. That's how you're going to get to life enhancement, afterlife enrichment, basically experiential fulfillment. So that was great. Thank you so much for that question as well.